What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. So today I want to give you a good overview of the data points because right now it is on a very pivotal point that can easily break out. So I want to go over some of the data points with you and some latest updates. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Without further ado, let's get right to it. So as you can see on the technicals, it is currently up 2.59%. A lot of good momentum being had today, and it is exactly wanting to transition from the lower to the higher percentile of the boiling event. And typically there is a lot of resistance at that stage. And so of course I do anticipate, especially with the broader market and earnings week potentially, then this can easily break into this range. But whether it stays there, I do feel that it is going to be largely dependent on Tesla's earnings, and that is coming out after hours on Wednesday. But for those of you that watch my channel, you know I'm a very big stats guy. And based on the stats, it does show year over year on a global scale, 65% year over year growth for EVs. So of course, this is why we invest in EVs, because even though in the short term, they're having a little bit more potential difficulty, and even in more so for the short term, they're not really delivering as much as we would like. Still, we are investing in the right market, and Lucid will eventually get their ducks in a row and be able to hit a home run. But of course, I could be very much wrong. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. I'll give you guys a quick overview of shorts before I go over some other updates. So short score is currently 86. Utilization is at 100%, but it's been at 100% for a while. Shorts are currently increasing 1.44 million shares, bringing the grand total to 145.73 million shares being shorted, and 22.74% of the free float is being shorted. So behind the scenes, shorts are very much doubtful. And of course, I always like to look at, for instance, options activity. And even in that regard, a little bit more orienting towards calls. So it looks like shorts are the only ones trying to suppress Lucid behind the scenes. Everyone else and all the other data points are very optimistic. So as you can see, $378,000 worth of call premiums being done today versus 147 in puts. So very much orienting towards calls. Maybe people know something that I don't about potentially the upcoming earnings on May the 8th, or maybe something else, because the shareholder meeting is also next week. That is on the 24th. I don't anticipate anything crazy being coming out from that, at least. So I think reality, a lot of people are just betting on the upcoming earnings, like I said, on May the 8th. But when it comes down to it, some latest updates, there was this. So 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧, based on the description that is provided, definitely shows that she most likely will be a very big benefit for Lucid. But of course, I could be very much wrong when it comes down to that. But based on some chains that was going around on Twitter, it does look like she's actually been around for around 5 months. So let me know your thoughts on that. Do you know if she's been there or any validation? Because of course, can't really trust everything that you see on the internet, even including this video. So make sure you guys do your own due diligence at the end of the day, like I always say. But it is that time of season once again, so ETFs and institutions are disclosing their positions in Lucid, and as of late, you do see a lot of either unchanged, minorly increasing, or completely getting out. So in general, it's all over the place. So no different than the technicals, no different than, for instance, just the sentiment when it comes down to Lucid. People just do not know exactly where Lucid is going to go. But of course, I think that's just more so telling based on the previous earnings and so forth. So based on the big money, it does look like there was one big transaction done today, so 1.08 million, and it was a buy based on the bid and the ask. So of course, that is fairly optimistic. When it comes down to Lucid, the majority of the transactions are always after hours though, so just be aware of that. And like I've mentioned in the past, some pivot points that you really need to watch for. So of course it is trying to transition into the higher percentile right now, but bigger picture and more heavy resistance and support is $8.13. So that's something you need to really watch for. Vice versa, $7.36. But like I've already done videos on, I did project $7.36 was going to be the low, and it actually hit, I believe, $7.40. So very much on point with that, and so definitely very much validating on the technical standpoint. Things are ready to bounce and continue to trend up. But keep in mind, for it to get past this 813 and transition into the higher percentile, it needs to have a lot of good momentum, not necessarily just hope. So of course, that's something just be aware of. And looking at stochastic, it is cooling off a little bit. So right now 47 is what stochastic is at, so kind of neutral. but it does give a good opportunity for it to trend up, even though there is a little bit more of a bearish sentiment. And looking at momentum, number of retail investors are getting in today. So of course, based on Friday, people were getting out. So definitely, I think the tide is turning potentially for Lucid, at least in the short term. Like I said, what is going to potentially come out on their earnings is going to be a whole different ball game. And based on the transcripts, it was a little bit more mixed, even coming from Lucid's management standpoint. On a side note, if you are looking for transcripts, SEC filings, press releases, everything that you need to know when it comes down to Lucid, take a look at Seeking Alpha Premium. I have a link to them in the description below and also the comments for a 7-day free trial. So take advantage of this because this is a pretty handy tool in my opinion. But outside of that though, given all the actual data points that I mentioned, I do feel that there's a lot more optimism with Lucid. And of course, I could be very much wrong. This might just be a temporary pump potentially, but I feel something is coming with Lucid and for it to potentially break out, because in reality I do feel that Lucid should be at a higher price point, even though that would kind of raise the multiple potentially. But Lucid, in comparison to other EVs, has just been slammed so much more. The only other EV that I know that's been hit worse is Polestar, and that one just does not make sense by any means. So of course that's a whole different video. But once again, let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, selling, holding, where you see things going in either the short term, long term, where you see things going in. Plus, on a side note, let me know your thoughts on the actual earnings. Are you a fan of them? Do you think they are going to be positive, negative? What's your take on that? So once again, let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. And while Lucid tries to figure out what they are going to be doing behind the scenes, so up, down, sideways, whatever it is, what you can do, take advantage of some free stocks with some promos, and that is with Moomoo, link in the description below and also the comments. Just sign up for a free account and you get one free stock. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So even if you just do that, take advantage while you can. This is only for April. Plus, on a side note, Moomoo does also have $0 commission, free level 2 trading. So complete no-brainer in my opinion. And as you see, if you do deposit $100, you get an additional 4 free stocks. So once again, let me know your thoughts on all that. And with all that said, I appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.